Hello Internet, this is Alex the Sudoku, and we have another New York Times hard Sudoku for us today. I'm gonna have to admit that I had a go with this earlier, and it's a doozy. It's really hard. Anyway, it's Friday the 27th of August 2020, and let's dive right in. And I've actually made some preparations to try and solve this because I just couldn't solve this on New York Times, and I figure using some additional tools may be helpful in trying not to use the auto-candidate modes as well. So let's see, we're just going around with the numbers, and the first thing that I can find is 4s that I can pencil mark in. So putting those in, I think that's all the pencil marking that I can do. So what about 5s? I've got a pair of 5s there because of these two 5s. By the way, the 4s is based on these two 4s. So 5s, I've got another pair of 5s up there. And what else have I got? A pair of 5s over here. And I think that's it. Oh, actually, I've got a triple 5 there, which points at that 5 pencil marking, unlocking this 5 over here. But I think now we're stuck on the 5s. So 6s. I've got a pair of 6s here because of these two 6 and that 6. And I think that's it. So let's look at 7s. I've got a pair of 7s, locking a pair of 7s up there. These two 7s locks a pair of 7s over there. This 7 acts on these 3 cells, giving us another pair of 7s, which works with this pair of 7 as a pointed pair to lock another pair of 7s up there. So we're finally getting somewhere with the pencil markings. And more importantly, we've created an X-Wing, which I've not really talked about X-Wings, but I think it rarely comes up on New York Times. I don't think I've ever come across them. So even if they were set with X-Wings, I've not had to use them. But either way, these two cages lock the 7s on row 1 and 3, which means in the final cage it has to be in row number 2. So I think that's all we can do with the 7s. Let's move on to 8s. 8s. Doesn't look like we can do anything with the 8s, so what about 9s? 9s. I've got a pair of 9s there because of these two 9s, but I've got 9 seen to this cell, so that gives us a 9 here, which in turn looks up to the top cage, locking a pair of 9s here, but I've got 9 over here locking that cell, so that gives us another 9, which now acts with this 9, looking over here, locking a pair of 9s here, but again, we've got a 9. So we can place that 9 again, which finally looks down on these two cells and these two cells. So the final 9 has to go in here, and that's all the 9's done. So you would think that, oh, we're making headways here. I was finally looking forward to this puzzle, thinking I can get somewhere. But no. We're nowhere near finished just yet. So, the next thing I did was going around the board again from 1 to 9. I missed a pair of 2s over here. I could have pencil marked those in. There were nothing on 1s that I could see. 2s. So 2s are now locked in those 2 cells because of that 9 being added there. And I think that's all I can do with the 2s. So let's look at 3s again. So 3s. I've got 3 possible candidates. Oops. Here. 3 possible candidates over here. So that doesn't give us anything. So 3 is currently weak. So 4s. 4, 4. 4 hasn't changed by the look of it. So still no progress. 5s are locked in these 3 cells, which isn't that useful for me. And I think that's it. So 6s has not developed into anything. Yes, it has. So this 6 and that 6 acts on these 4 cells, locking a pair of 6s there, which in turn, as a pointed pair, looks down into this column, blocking any possible 6s. Working that 6 locks another pair of 6s down there. So 6s. I can't see anything else, so let's look at 7s again. I can't see anything with 7s. I think we've just left the pencil markings in these 3 cells, but we can't do anything with them. So what about 8s? 8s. Nope, can't see anything on them. So I think at this point, we'll have to start looking at the weak areas. So I think, I don't remember looking at the 3, so let's have a look anyway. So 3, on this row, we're looking for 1, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, and 5. I've got 1 and 5, so that's 2 and 4. I've got a 2 and 5, so that's 1 and 4. I can see a 1, so this is 2, 4, and 5. Can't see anything, so this is 1, 2, 3, and 5. 1, 2, 4, and 5. Oh no, actually, I see a 4 in those two cells. So let's think again. 4 can go there. So 1 and 5, so this is 2 and 4. I can see 2 and 5, so this is 1 and 4. I've got 1 and 4 over here, locking. So those can't be 1 and 4s. That can be a 1, so I don't think we can resolve this just yet. So I think I ended up attacking the weak areas, but there aren't any obvious weak areas. There aren't any 2s. Basically, there aren't any rows, columns, or cages with just 2 cells left. So I ended up attacking. There weren't any 3s either, so there aren't any 3s. I don't know why I say weren't. Probably because I had to go at this early on. So let's look at this column, this row even. We're missing 3, 4, 7, and 8. Well, I've got 4, 7, and 8 here, so that actually places a 3 over there. So what does this 3 do? It locks a pair of 3s up there because of that 3 and that 3. So now acting as a pointed pair, it locks another pair of 3s over there. So some progress. Looking at this column now, this is now the weakest area with 3 cells left. And we are left out with 1, 2, and 6. So we got 6 here, so that's 1 and 2. 6 is over there, so these are 1, 2, and 6s because we can't see any 1s or 2s. So that's no use for us. And I think I just kind of did another scan around the board after that to see if I can spot anything else. And to be honest, I can't spot anything. And I think here, hold on a sec. I just thought I saw something there with the 3, 4, and 9, because 3, 4, and 9, 3, 4, and 9, so 3, 4, and 9 sees into those 2 cells, but nothing sees into that cell, so that's no use. No, 9s are pointless anyway. Because trying to think now. So I'm looking for no. I think at this point I just gave up, and I have got an approach that I end up using, which is ta-da! It is Sudoku Exchange, and basically I just repeated the entire grid, and using the New York Times Sudoku as basis, I filled in the numbers that I've already got. So I've got 3 and 9 there, 5 over there, I've got 9 over here, and a 9 here, 9 here, and it's just a bit of an aid to help me spot between. I suppose I didn't pre-plan this to kind of make the 2 Sudoku cages lined up, but this is what we've got. And yeah, we're basically going to use the Sudoku Exchange app to help us, because I think we just need a bit of assistance. So first thing we're going to do, and basically the reason I'm using Sudoku Exchange is I don't think I can solve this without writing all the candidates. I just can't solve this with Snyder notations. So I'm just going to basically click on the ones, and I do have the hint to help me see all the numbers. So what I can do is highlight all the cells that the ones can't see, and in one go I can pencil mark all of them in. And I'll do the same with twos. I don't know why I did that. I could have just kept the 2 held down. So those are the twos. Threes, I've got a pair of threes there, so I already know these pointed pairs act on each other. So those can be, oh no. So let's see, pointed pair here, another pair there. There's a 3 over here, so actually I only have those cells available to me. And I've got 2 columns here, so those are the 3s. 4s, so I've got a pair of 4s there. I've got 3 4s. And let's see. So yeah, now they don't act on each other anymore, so those are the 4s. And yeah, this is just a much easier way of pencil marking in everything. And I don't know why that happens. Is it because I select... no, I think I just let go of the shift key by accident. Oh, I wonder if it's my keyboard not connecting properly. I've been using a USB switch, and it seems to cause some problems for my input devices. So 6s... so yeah, the main purpose of this is I can do kind of more direct, rather than going through cell by cell where I may lose my place in terms of what pencil markings I've done. I'm just doing all of them in one go, hoping that I'm not going to confuse myself, and putting the correct pencil markings. So that's 8, and I know 9s are done. So anyone who's quick with the eyes would have spotted a 1, 3 and 8 triple here, which is good. So what we can do with Sudoku Exchange is holding down the control key, I can put in 1, 3 and 8, and holding down shift I'm going to undo the pencil marking for 1, 3 and 8 in the corners. So I now have center notations telling me these 3 cells can't be anything other than these 3 values. Technically speaking, we don't need to do this because we've pencil marked in everything basically. So as we start eliminating candidates, we'll be able to spot that anyway. So basically all these numbers are all the possible candidates within these cells. Just out of good habits, I like to put center notations when I spot any triples or doubles, or in rare occasions even quadruples. So this 1, 3 and 8 triple on the column erases the 8s over there, and the 3s in these 2 cells, and the 1 in this cell, giving us 4, 5 and 7 triple there as well. I'm going to be honest with you, there's no way I would have spotted the 1, 3 and 8, and so I'll be very curious if anyone has a suggestion on how I should have solved this. But since basically I went through the weak numbers, and there are loads of weak numbers. 1's a week, 2's a week, 3's a week, 4's a week, 5 is fine, 6 a week, 8's a week. So the only things that aren't weak are 5, 7 and 9, which is why I was looking at the 5, 7, 9 here early on, or was it 5, 4 and 9? I can't remember now, but being as 4 is a weak number as well, that just would not have led me to deducing the triple of 1, 3, 8 here at all, because of the sheer number of weak numbers. So one thing that's useful with Sudoku Exchange is we can click on the cells and basically see it highlights all the candidates for us. So the corner notations are a little bit intimidating. I I think if this was on paper, pen and paper, I would just struggle to read the grid entirely, and we will make a mess trying to solve this. So I really look to kind of any players out there who has a better idea of how this could have been solved, how to have spotted this triple. But anyway, with the 1, 3 and 8, we've eliminated some candidates. So we've eliminated 1, 3 and 8. So in theory, if any changes has happened, it will be within the 1, 3 and the 8. So why don't we have a look at the 1s? It's nothing interesting. 3. Okay, so now we have a single 3 left in this cage. So really, we're looking at these 2 cages to see if the erasure of pencil markings have led to anything. And one thing we have spotted is that it's left a not naked 3, but just a single candidate 3 left in this cage. But since we're not using slider notations anymore, it's quite hard now to see any singular candidates. But that's where apps like Sudoku Exchange is really useful for. By clicking on the number, you can actually see what cells they occupy in pencil markings as well. So that's one way of helping yourselves, basically. So now if I put in this 3, I have got auto erase on, but what I'm going to do is I am going to switch back to New York Times, and what I'm going to do is punch in the 3 that I've identified and see if I can get anywhere else by punching in that candidate. So with that 3, 3 looks down into these 2 cells, and that 3 looking into there. So I've got a pair of 3s over here, which leaves me a triple over here. And also, just to switch back to the Sudoku Exchange, the other thing that's important is we've actually cleared up some candidates in these cells, so it's useful to know what they are. So I'm going to break my general rule of thumb, which is I'm going to pencil mark in 1, 3 and 8 in these 3 cells just to help me kind of resolve things. So I know that's not a 3 anymore because the pointer pair of 3s looks up in there. But what the next thing this does is I've got a pair of 8s now locked into these 2 cells because the 1, 3 and 8 looks into here. I've got 1 and 3 already. So the important thing is it unlocks a pointer pair of 8 now in that cell. And that does something useful for us because that creates another pointer pair which looks into these 3 cells. And I've got an 8 over here. So that gives us another pointer pair of 8, which means I've got a pair of 8s down here, and the 8 look into one of the cells. So we finally unlocked another 8, and that 8 looks back onto the triple, meaning that can't be 8 anymore, and we've just identified a 1. Oh, hang on. Yeah, identified a 1, which erases the 1s down here. For a second there I panicked because I was still in slider notation mode in my head, and I was like, hang on, I've just erased all the 1s from that cage. But actually, that's just like a triple indicator for me along the column. And what's important is there are still possible candidates over there. And this is where the center notation and corner notations are really important, because center notations merely dictates that in those cells, those are the only possible candidates. So going back here, just because these are the only candidates doesn't mean the candidates can't exist outside. So I've got 1s in these 2 cells. So it's kind of important to know the difference, basically. So I think from now we can probably solve this puzzle because we have basically created a 3-8 pair here, which means I've got 4, 7 and 5 left in these cells. Can I do anything with that? 4, 7 and 5. I can see a 5 there, but I can't see anything else. I can see a 7, but I can't see a 4, so I can't resolve that just yet. So no matter. Let's see what else we can do. So we solved that candidate 8 over there, which means that points over here, giving us another pair of 8s here. But we know that can't be an 8 because I've got a pointed pair of 8s here. So we just locked another 8 in, erasing a 6. So that gives us another 6. And that 6 works in tandem with the other 6 over there, creating a pair of 6s there. Now, is that useful for us? Doesn't look very useful yet. I've not actually gone further than this on my attempt, because I basically got stuck and I tried to come up with a way of solving this without resorting to auto candidates. So what may be interesting now is, have we got anything here? I've got 1, 2, and 6. 1, 2, and 6. No. I've got another triple here. These are 1, 5, and 1, 2, and 5. Again, that's not helpful at all. So 2s. So the 2s are still quite weak. But it sees into this cell, so let's see. 1, 2, 5, and 4. I've got 2 and 5. I don't have 1 and 4. I've got 1 and 4 here, but I haven't got 5. 1, 2, 5, and 4. 1 and 5. But no 4. I think I'm just going to go around the board again quickly to see if I can see anything else. Maybe we can do some more pencil markings. So let's see. Okay, so actually, that 2... Oh no. I made a mistake there, thinking there's a 2 over here. So 2 3s. So 3s are locked in these 2 cells. Is that useful? Yes, it is, because I've got a pointed pair of 3s there. So actually... Oh yeah, I already knew that the 3 was locked in this column. So 3 is over there now, which means I've got another pointed pair of 3s there because of that 3 and that 3. So finally, we've got a 3 locked in that cell. And anything else for us there? 3, 3. So I've got 3 candidates there. 3 candidates there, so that's no use. So where did I place a 3? Place a 3 up here. Does that help me? I've got 1, 7, 8, 1, 4, 7, 8. 1, 4, 6, 7, and 8. What about this triple? Have we got 4, 7, and 8? I've got an 8 there, but no 4. So still not getting anywhere with that. But I've got triple here as well. So these are 4, 4, 5, 7, 8. So 5 has to be on the top row. So can I look? So I've got 5 and 5. 4, 5, 5, 4. I'm hoping that my coughing or sneezing will be quieter now, because I'm now recording this kind of live. I'm not doing post-editing. And, oh, actually, 5 and 8 are locked in these 2 cells. 8 sees into that, so 5 and 8 are... Oh! 5 and 8... Oh! Hang on. What was this before? This is an 8. 5 and 8. So... Oh, that's not an 8, is it? That 8 sees into that 8. So that's an 8. So 5, this is actually 5 and 2. So again, we can't resolve that. But at least we got an 8 up there. But like I was saying, I'm now kind of recording this live, which means I had to do some audio software on it to... there's a thing called... I can't remember what it's called now. Let's see if I can find out. It's called noise suppression, noise gate, which basically, if it hits a certain volume, it basically cuts it down by half. Basically, it kind of like halves the decibel that it's at, and just thought that's quite cool. Anyway, so 5 seats into that. But anyway, it means in theory, if I do have any coughs, it should be much quieter now. So 4 sees into that, so 4 has to be there, so there's nothing else but a 5 in that cell, because 7 can't go there, so actually that's a 5, and that is now a 2. Oh yeah, of course, there's a 2 up there the whole time, so I think the talking is not kind of like distracting me a little bit too much now. That would be my excuse for now. So that locks a pair of 2s in here because of these 2 2s. So I'm missing a 5 in here. Well, 5 has to be in one of these 2 cells, and it can't be in that one. So 5 and 1 are resolved. So that means 2 and 4 are resolved as well, because when we've got pencil markings in, snide indentation pencil marking that are locked in a cage and a column at the same time, that basically means this cell cannot be a 4 as well, because any single candidate kind of implies that it has to be correct. Actually, that's probably not amazing logic, but trust me, in this instance, it is correct. So that'll be a 5. So these 4s locks a pair of 4s over here, thanks to these 2 4s. So that knocks out the 3. So I've got 2 3s, locking another pair of 3s there. So finally, we've got a 7. So 7s are locked up here, but we don't know where. What about this cell? 7, 8, and 4 again. So being really annoying, number 4. So these are 6, 2, 6, and 4. No, 2, 6, and 1. So that can't be 1. What about? I think I should be looking at the 2s and the 4s. So let's see. That 2 looks into this cage, meaning the 2s have to be there. What else can I do? There's a triple here, so that's got to be a 1, 2, and 7. Yeah, but I don't know which is which. So I'm just trying to resolve the rest without going... here we go. 1 sees into that cell, but there's got to be a 1 in this column, so 1 and 4, finally. And I think with that 4, we can lock a pair of 4s over there, but actually, if you look at this cage and that cage, 4s are locked in columns 2s and 3s, 2 and 3. So with that in mind, there has to be a 4 in this column. So that actually resolves the 4. And now we've got a 7 and 6 and 7. Yes. So I've got 6 up here, so 7 and 6 are resolvable, which resolves the 2 and the 7 here. And that 2 erases that 2. That 7 erases that 7, pushes out the 8. So 7 and 8 are resolved over there. So this 8 acts with that 8, locking another 8 here. And now these 2 work in tandem, locking an 8. And finally, 8 and 3 in this column is resolved. So, we've got 2 pairs here now. In fact, the 6 is knocked out. So we've actually got a single, which is a 1. And that 1 acts up here, locking a pair of pointed 1s here, seeing into those 2 cells. But to be fair, we've got a 4-6 pair here already, so we could have resolved that. And now we have 2s and 2 and 3. So got a 3 in this column, so that's a 2, that's a 3. So that 3 erases another 3. So I think that's the final 3. Also, this is now 1. And we must have one more 1 here, which is up here, because of these 2 1s and that 1. So now these have to be 4s and 6s. We've got a 6 there, so that's a 4 and 6, which resolves the 4 and 6 down here. And what else does it do? That can't be a 5 because of the 5 over there. So 5's got to be up there. And the last cell is a 2, which knocks out that 2, resolving the 2 and the 7. And that resolves the 4 and the 7, which resolves the 4 and the 6. And that's today's hard New York Times Sudoku. So it's not super satisfying having to use another app to kind of get to the point that we need to. If it was on pen and paper, there has to be a different way of finding the triple, or even using another technique. So I would welcome any comments below on suggestions on what areas you think I need to improve on, any techniques that I need to look at, basically. But I hope that's otherwise been useful. I think it's definitely one of the trickier hard New York Times Sudoku, so it's kind of good to know that I haven't hit the point where I can solve every single one yet, because it means I still got things to learn. But yeah, otherwise I shall see you tomorrow. Happy Thursday, everyone.